Da, 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 da. How are you guys?
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
No, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us for Daily
Aw,
Dose. I must have known you 15 years.
forever.
We've
For
known each other for a very long time. And the funny thing about it is we moved in the same circles. We shoot the same clients. We have the same clientele. But this is my very first time speaking to you face to face. In
Oh
Brooklyn.
my,
She's from Brooklyn. Yay, Brooklyn.
that's right,
Yeah, but you
Brooklyn.
guys should be ashamed of yourselves. You both in Brooklyn and haven't talked, haven't met.
You hear his accent? You haven't talked. You haven't met. You haven't had no water, no coffee.
It's the perfect New York accent.
Perfect. And you're not in, where are you right now? Because you're not in New York. Where are you?
I'm right by New Orleans right now.
So let me ask you a question. When you hear New York accent, do you hear it immediately out there when people from
Oh
New York
yeah,
start talking?
oh yeah, oh yeah,
We
for
were at the
sure.
supermarket, and this woman said something to her husband, like, Harvey, you got to get the water. I said, Brooklyn. And she was like, yeah, Brooklyn too. The big black man runs up on a little white woman talking about Brooklyn. She was like,
Y'all are funny.
oh, hilarious. But let's talk about you, Wendy. Who the hell are you?
I'm a crazy New Yorker from Roosevelt Island. My dad's from Brooklyn. My mom's from Queens. I went to music and art, so fame.
Fame,
Don't tell me you went there too.
84.
What? 87?
Oh my
What?
God.
That's crazy.
Oh my God. So that means you was at the new school.
Yes. No, I started freshman year. I was uptown.
I was last year, last graduating class of the old school.
Oh my God, 135th and Convent.
Oh my God. I'm going
That was like that
live
spot up on
forever.
140th and St. Nick. Remember that spot?
Yep.
Man, I used to cut class in City
Cut
College
class.
and get French fries.
Well, we used to hang out on the City College campus, and we had a guy there named Chernoff, who used to comb. Old man Chernoff used to comb through the City College campus looking for us.
I cannot believe we went to the same high school. That's crazy.
It's been more creepy.
We just had like our 40th anniversary of the Fame School.
Yeah,
It was all over. That's insane. Wow.
that's really, really scary.
Yeah, that's crazy. So we've traveled in some serious
So
circles.
have you ever seen the movie Fame? Of course you have.
Of course.
Remember the lunchbox, the lunchroom scene, Hot Lunch?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I'm the kid with the top hat. The
Are you
purple-
really in it?
That's me.
Yes, he was in it.
What?
I'm the kid with the purple line and the top hat. I must have
Oh
been
my
13.
God. That is amazing.
It's a really, really tiny
I'll send
world.
you a screenshot after.
Oh my God. So
You know-
wait, so you were actually in performing arts or music and
I
arts?
was in music and art.
Okay.
I
Oh
was there- I
wow.
was there for voice.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I was there for voice.
Wow.
So yeah.
I
And
didn't go there. I went to a performing arts school in Jersey.
he was at a
but
wax
Okay.
school.
I didn't go to the
He
wax
wasn't good
school.
enough to go to New
I
York.
went to the first school in America, first performing arts school in America, which is in Jersey.
But
Oh,
nobody
that's
did the movie,
crazy.
But
No, I
nobody
thought.
did the movie Fame in Jersey. Who wants to go to Jersey to see Fame? Enough about all that. Let's get in. Let's get into what you went to music and art.
Yeah.
And then I went to college, did a semester with Columbia in Paris. I met a photographer. I modeled for some AT&T annual report. He turns out to have been Mark Seliger's mentor. And so when I came back, I started interning with Mark Seliger. And I walked in and there were prints of like Kurt Cobain and Soundgarden. And I was like, oh my God, I just died and went to like rock star heaven. You know, I was
Nice.
21, 22. And so I ran his dark room. I worked with him on a bunch of shoots, and then he hired me right out of college. I still wasn't sure what I was doing. And then from him, I worked with Michael Levine. We did a lot of rock and hip hop. And then from there, I moved to LA for a few years. I worked with Annie Leibovitz.
Because I'm like, you're talking like Annie. Your whole story sounds like Annie. I was about to say that.
Except that I didn't tour with the Rolling Stones, but
Right.
I did have my first breakthrough shoot, and it was shooting Common for Rolling Stone. So it kind of all came back around like full circle. Yeah, it was amazing. So I did a few years in LA, and then I came back. I got homesick because I saw the movie Saturday Night Fever. And the whole Brooklyn thing, I was like, I got to go home. I got to go home. So I went home. And then I started working with Ruben Afanador, and that's when I discovered hair and makeup. And I was like, what? Like, it wasn't even about the fashion. It was literally the hair, makeup, the face, the transition and transformation. And that really got me excited. And so that's how I kind of moved my way out of because I came up shooting for like Source, Vibe, Rolling Stone. I had Rev Run's accounts and shot all the footwear lines.
Nice.
Back in the days of like really beautiful Kush budgets.
Remember those days?
Yes, that's a whole other conversation.
Memories. Yeah.
Like the corner of my eye.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's so funny. But yeah, and so then a couple of people that I worked with had gone on into other magazines. So I really came up shooting more advertorials and
That's where we come
advertising.
from. That's where we come from.
Right.
Nice.
And that was a very cute budget back in the day. That was like a great middle ground. And then I had a couple of big breakthroughs, like, between Vanessa and Angela Simmons' line and Rev Run and MTV and all, Rolling Stone. That was like its own thing. And then I kind of shifted after the recession. Somehow I survived that.
Which recession?
I know, right? This was the landmark 2008 one.
Got it.
That one. But yeah. And then I kind of just started moving really hard into beauty. Like I really pushed for like better models and pushed myself with lighting, pushed myself
Because
with the hair and makeup.
That's when I started to see the transition. I was like, yo, Wendy's changing.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh shit, she's not playing.
No, I was
Oh
not
my
playing.
God, she's stealing jobs from me now. I gotta get this
What?
chick.
Oh God, I'm sorry. And it's crazy because when I first came up, I was like, there's so much work out here, and the market wasn't saturated the way it is now. It's not like everybody is an Instagram phenomenon with like, their iPhone and a filter. And so I had the mentality of like, everybody can have a piece. Everybody can work together. And like, when I'd book on something, if I was booked, I'd pass it on to friends or assistants. Like there was such abundance back then.
Yes, and there was a lot more camaraderie back then.
Yes.
Because back in the days, we shot at places like Third Ward. Did you ever shoot at Third Ward?
No, I never got to shoot at Third Ward. I think I went to parties there a bunch.
Yeah,
like
the
summertime
nightclub
parties?
The drinking and drawing and stuff. So what would happen is you had these co-ops of like-minded individuals that we will all feed off each other and learn from each other and stuff like that.
Right.
So,
And then it went somewhere.
and then it died.
Then it went into like the dark ether.
Yeah, it died. So,
I mean,
so
I feel like I'm still friends with, a lot of people from back in the day, but James Weber is one who's just been incredible. And he and I will talk shop and share secrets and share tricks. And it's never been like a competition thing. It's always just been like, we're all working photographers. Cool. How can we learn from each other, or how can we share information?
Don't you love that?
oh my
Don't you love
God,
that
not even
environment?
that. Don't you miss that?
Yeah, I do actually. I really miss it. I mean, I miss New York right now in like a way that I can't even, like my cellular makeup is missing it.
We understand.
We're in
But-
LA.
We're in LA. Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. That's how I ended up in New Orleans.
So who's the crazy? So tell us about the crazy one that decided to put a ring on it.
He came to Brooklyn maybe 8 years ago from New Orleans. He launched a bar around the corner from me. I was still shooting Neiman Marcus, so I was between New York and Dallas, New York and LA, and we met. And my head wasn't really there because I was still like in Neiman Marcus. I was between actually Neiman Marcus and a lot with Essence. And Essence actually had amazing budgets too back then. Like
Yes, they did. I remember those budgets.
Those advertorials were real cute. Like that was a good look, So yeah, kind of like it wasn't really clicking because like I just go in, on a weekend. I got to know him, and at that point, I think I was watching True Blood and a bunch of like New Orleans, Louisiana, and I was like, oh wait a minute, there's something about that cute accent. Yeah, kind of like Lafayette.
Music, movies and television is influencing your life like this.
It's
She
so
did like
true.
Veronica Mars.
Yeah, it's so true.
So, were you shooting in high school? Like, when did you pick
You
up
know,
a-
I had a Nikon FT20. My mom got it for me for my birthday at 16. And I was kind of shooting. I mean, I was the one that everyone's like, oh, hey, Wendy, bring your camera. We'll go take pictures.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I didn't technically know what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like I just kind of had a feel for it. I understood a lot of it, lighting, composition, and trying to capture things that I wanted to. But I didn't know, obviously, a fraction of what I know now. But I did come up learning film.
Did you shoot for the yearbook in high school?
No.
I did too. That
So
was-
I was the kid, like you, I was the kid that always had a camera.
Right.
Oh my God! So
this is amazing.
so Wendy's she's really like a big black man in a little white woman's body.
That's it.
Oh my God! It's like twinsies. So when did you realize that photography was your calling? you went from picking up a camera and having a good time figuring things out. When did you realize, aha, this is for me.
This is what I
This is
want.
what I need to do.
On my very first shoot with Mark Seliger, shooting Grand Poobah on February 4th, God, 1990 something. I mean, I graduated high school 87, so it had to be 91 college, maybe 91, 92.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the coldest day of the year. We were in a motorhome, but it was this big production and it was really exciting. And I was like, oh, and at that point I was still interning, you know, I was like working for free. And so, yeah, once I got a taste of set life, I was like, oh, what do you mean you can make a living here? And then once I went once I went freelance, I was like, oh, this assisting stuff is cool. Like I'm traveling everywhere and got to see the world, got to see the States, you know, and never had to pay for it. I was like, this is amazing.
How people work and learn from them.
Yeah.
Yes, and that was incredible because I had so much diversity. You know, I came up working in music and then segued over into beauty and fashion, and now I kind of dabble a little bit in both, but more beauty at this point.
Nice.
So I'm excited. I just got my first job with Aveda. I'm shooting a collection for them. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm working with the global North American team, and it's more for education. You know, kind of the way I shoot with Wella, it's for education. But it's really exciting. It's a big team, and it's going to be in New Orleans, and a bunch of people are flying in. I got a stylist from Brooklyn. I'm like, what?
Nice.
If
Got
you need any
this.
assistance, I'm on my way.
Nice.
That's
So
amazing.
let's talk about this. The climate has changed so much since you and I started in the business, and how Instagram and social media has taken the lead in what they consider to be photography. How have you been navigating those waters?
I have such a hard time with that. It's like, what's the word? It's sort of like the masses have accepted mediocrity, and I have such a beef with that because I'm like, it's not that it's like a lifestyle picture. It's badly lit. There's no composition, and if the entire, it's like the dumbing down of America with reality TV. I just feel like the skill set that we've all worked towards in executing. There's just the value isn't there for the clients because there's so much mass consumption now that it's really about, you know, content. And I think that that's winning out over quality.
Remember back in the days, now this is photography and music, when you had a good album and it can last on the charts for like 3 years or 4 years.
Right, like when you listen to like Tribe Called Quest, Instinctive.
Or Janet Jackson.
Right, you listen to the whole album, like every single song on it was so dope. You were like, this is amazing.
And then just when the album's about to die down, they release that one last hit and it
bring
goes
right
back up.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what's interesting? Like I'm a little bit younger than you guys, so but that time was my time too. So I'm like,
Right.
I remember when it would take 3 years to make an album. I remember when it took 4 years to make an album. Then when it came out, you just were so happy and so fulfilled.
Right?
It's just
Now
so,
it's like every week something's coming out to the point that, like you said, mediocrity is taking over. Even with photography, back in the days, you get an editorial and you pick up the latest Vogue and you would like drink it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Def
oh yeah,
magazine,
you
we had
were
the
like,
big
knock
brands,
this
Debbie
out the water.
magazines, and we would just drink it in and love it. And it's now, it goes online on Monday, Wednesday, we're talking about somebody else.
Right.
I don't like
So
it.
I don't like it either. I mean, none of us like it. I feel like it's been a very difficult new emergence and just new way to navigate. And I'm a lot more selective with the jobs that I take now. I've definitely spent the last year, you know, I took a little break when I first got to New Orleans because I was like, all right, I'm engaged now. Like, let me just check out what this life could be here. And then I found myself getting really restless and I was like, okay, I'm painting cows and I'm painting watercolors and it's all really exciting, but I really missed shooting. And so then I kind of connected back with a bunch of female-owned eco-friendly brands that were coming up, and I was able to just do product. And so it kind of has sustained me. This is actually my first real shoot, like big production shoot since right before COVID. I shot Candy Johnson for OGX and I shot video for Wella. It was educational. And we had a day of video and a day of print. So, I went out in December with like, whoa, this is, ending the year and it's amazing. And then boom, COVID hit. And it was like, yep, that's a wrap.
Well, what's been happening as of late since George Floyd, there's been also a flood of showing African American photographers that we do exist.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
I
shoot
saw that.
that we can
I
actually
saw-
shoot the big dogs. But another thing
Uh-huh.
that's occurred is the opening of the gates for women photographers.
Yes.
Well, see, I thought after Me Too that was going to be a floodgate of women, and there's still only a small handful of women that are actually working at that level and working regularly. It's still a pretty tight market.
Even less for black female photographers.
Yes.
Right, right.
So what we've been doing is we've been showing love to women photographers, because you guys exist and you guys are awesome and you guys definitely are talented as fuck.
Thank you. Do you guys know Piper Carter?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh, awesome.
Yes. We need
Cool.
to interview.
Yeah, you need
And
to
you-
get Piper on board.
I'm gonna throw Day under the bus.
What?
So Day, I said, "Oh my God, we're interviewing Wendy Hope." Like you said, like who's that? Because she asked, "Who are you?"
Okay, yeah.
So I let that go. And so I said, "You need to go check her out." So he goes to your Instagram page. Oh, some nice stuff. Okay, and that's all he said. I said, "Okay," because that wasn't the response I was expecting. So today I said,
No,
"Let's
not
go."
today. That was yesterday.
No, but today let's go to Wendy's website.
No, that was last night.
What was last night?
That was last night.
So let's go to Wendy's website. Because every time I interview somebody, I need to be current and
Yeah.
my due diligence. But I already knew who you were. So he was like, "Oh shit!"
Oh yeah. Oh, shit.
He was like, "This blows Instagram out the fucking water." And I said, "Yeah, she's dope, right?" He's like, "Hell yeah!" And he knew. And the funny thing, he knew some of your work.
Absolutely.
I know this work. I know this.
So
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
back in the day, I still do it now, but early on in my journey, I still do it. I make inspiration folders, and I put work
Uh-huh.
in that I think is amazing that I aspire to look like. So I did that back in the day, and I didn't even know Dallas. I'm like, "You shot this? Is it my inspiration folder?" I had a whole bunch of photos, whatever. Your work is
Aw.
amazing. So it's amazing.
So there it is.
That is
So
amazing.
let's talk about this journey of beauty. What is beauty to you, and how do you capture it? Like, tell me what's the components of a Wendy Hope beauty shot? Because you have a beauty shot, he has a beauty shot, I have a beauty shot, and
Right.
none of them are alike. So what's the Wendy Hope beauty?
I feel like, oh God, that's a really hard question. I feel like it's defined in the lighting, it's defined in the direction of the hair and the makeup. When I lock in on an idea, I lock in like an obsessive compulsive freak when I lock in. And, and so I'll basically sit there, I'll use colored pencils, I'll storyboard, I'll build a Pinterest board with it. What are you signaling me? My hair is all messed up?
No, he does the same thing.
Oh, okay. I was like, what's going
Not
on in
like
my
this
hair?
one does the same thing.
Yeah, until it actually really, I can see it. I get it to the point where I can see it before it's shot. I can see it fully executed, retouched, and in my print portfolio or on my website before it's done.
That's why I tell you people, we work backwards.
Yeah.
We have the image already in our head, and then
figured it out.
we reverse engineer it. So when I
Right.
walk to the studio, I know how it's going to be printed, I know how it's going to be composed, and I even know if it's going to be black or white or color, even before I pick up the camera.
Yeah.
So
That's
I'm glad you
awesome.
understand these things.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
continue.
So and then as far as beauty, I feel like there was one point when I first started shooting. So I grew up on Roosevelt Island, and two of my closest friends, one was Jewish Filipino, and the other one was a black girl, and their facial features to me growing up were like heaven, like canvas, the skin color. And so I started photographing models that in some ways reflected either Sasha or Elaine. And so I built up my book with mostly women of color at the very beginning. And then I was like, all right, I have to diversify, because I didn't know what my market was. I just knew what I thought was beautiful. Growing up in New York City, you're just exposed to everything. Roosevelt Island was a government experiment to see what would happen with like every race, nationality, religious, financial. And you don't see any of us blowing each other up. We're all still like this,
So let me ask you a question.
Wow.
You were saying that because this is really, really important, and I'm glad that you're saying this. When you first started shooting your beauty stuff, you had a lot of models of color.
Mm-hmm.
When you started presenting your book to, let's say, the agencies and stuff, did they tell you that you had to whiten your book up?
I did get a lot of that. And I also, when I would go to Sony, to go up for a black artist, they were like, pull out all the blondes. So there are markets, and it's interesting. At the end of the day, people want relatability, right? So I guess that's been the new revelation with the Barbie dolls too. It's got to be all inclusive, because if you're not relating, you're not buying the product. If you're not relating to what you're seeing, and I feel like that's some of the demise with some of the bigger companies when everything became e-com, and then they started cropping the models from the chin down. And then so now you've eliminated the photographer because you've got, so-and-so's assistant. You've eliminated hair, makeup, and you're shooting local girls. And so the money people are like, well, our numbers are still going down. And you're like, you've lost engagement. There's no relatability when you're looking at a model sitting there like this from the chin down. It's boring. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to shop that way. I'm sure nobody's going to shop that way. And so in the same way, I feel like if you're able to diversify and show everybody. I mean, I've had Asian girls come, like their managers say, oh, do you know how to shoot Asian skin? I remember at one point somebody was like, oh, you're proficient in African-American skin. And I'm like, y'all, it's a light reading and it's understanding light. It's not really like that.
You know what's making this so mind-blowing right now? I talk about this almost every single day. Yeah. And white photographers who shoot white people look at me like I'm crazy. Yeah, I'm like, I've always been told to whiten up my book. Yeah. So to hear you say it, because we shoot the same kind of people,
right?
It come out of your mouth. I'm like, I hope you guys are looking at this because we're not crazy.
No, y'all are not crazy.
And we got the same thing. Do you know how to shoot black skin? Do you know how to shoot white skin? Like you. It's a reading. It's a medium.
Right. It's not that complicated. Like, do you know how to expose for, I don't know, a white bottle? Like
against a white background?
Right. Yeah, right. Like, do you understand how to put black cards there for shadow and separation? Like, it is rocket science. It's a science. I feel like shooting is a science. Hair is a science. Nails are a science.
Oh, and I think photos. Oh yeah. I got to get my nail game up. Yeah. But every time she has nails, like she's been digging in the potato field, and then she wants to do like this, and like, oh my god.
No, you know what? On this shoot that we have on Monday, the budgets are always tighter, and they're like, no, we don't have a nail person. And I'm like, what if the girl has chicken nuggets like mine? Honey nails made me stop biting my nails. She's like, you're in the beauty industry. Mm-mm. And so she made me put on, acrylics until I stopped biting. And now I just have to keep them polished. But, a lot of times, I speak with my hands. A lot of the models, if you restrict them, you're going to get a lot of awkward images, right?
Yes,
so like, it's also like another place that really, every detail counts in a photo shoot. And everyone's looking and everything is affecting everything else because everything is relative. They're all just multiple components into one bigger entity, I think.
Yes. So you said that you had a friend who was Filipino and black? No,
Filipino and
Jewish. And you had a black friend. And that kind of molded your eye to what you consider to be beautiful.
Right, because growing up...
Explain those features.
Full lips, like a lot of real estate to work with in beauty. Like, and that's, but that's what it is.
No, like, he said the same thing. He said the same thing.
You won't get booked if you ain't got lips.
No. Unless it was back in the 70s, like Charlie's Angels days,
Of course.
But no, now it's,
So you like the full lips? Continue.
Yeah, I even work with a girl. She's beautiful. She's Caucasian. She's got, like, her features are symmetrical. And I'm constantly staring at her, like, I'm imagining the makeup and the photo shoot, but I look at people that way because I can't help it. My eye is so trained to just study faces.
He does the same thing.
You and I can be in mid-sentence talking. And if somebody walks by, I'd be like, oh, Wendy, that's an amazing...
Oh, wait, it's Dallas.
Look, and I'll be like, stop.
You got to stop doing that. You look like a creep. And at that point, you ever saw the movie Total Recall?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure I did.
Terminator.
Oh, Terminator. Yeah, I cut high school that day.
Remember he falls to the planet, and then he walks into a bar. And he's scanning. So he's scanning people to try to find out if he can fit their clothes.
Right.
And in the screen, you got like this computerized screen, and he's going through their features. That's exactly how I view people. I break them down, and I start doing the symmetry, and I say,
he'll think about a whole shoot. Like, I've seen the shoot with her.
And so it's like I'm talking. I'm a little white woman now. Oh my God. I'm a white woman. I'm a little white woman named Wendy. We're doing the same exact thing. Like, you like full lips, I love full lips. I like cat-like features.
Yes.
I like light eyes, far apart. They got to be very feline in their features. That's my.
Oh, I love that. Meow.
Uh-huh.
We had a photo shoot with this skincare line, and they brought the model was Asian. Her lips looked like mine.
Mm-hmm.
I was in love. Her lips are bigger than mine. I was in love.
Beautiful.
And it was like, oh my
And
God.
you know, Asian girls always have those beautiful little delicate hands with the long fingernails, and you're like, that's it. It's a wrap.
We
That's
learned
beautiful.
we learned to cheat the fingernails. We get these little press-ons, and we're like, throw these on.
That's what I made them do for the shoot. I was like, if the girls can't move, then they're just going to be awkward, and it's not going to be fun. Like, you don't have to use the images with the nails, but if they can't move around,
if they can't, right, exactly. So what is your? So tell us, because people are going to ask these questions. Tell us. You told us how you sketch things out. You told us you re-engineer your photo shoots. Now we're at the day of the shoot. Tell us your thought process when you pick up that camera and you look at that model.
Oh, well, the first thing I do is I put on music and I set the vibe. So we're going to have house music or electronica, right? Then I kind of wait for hair and makeup to get set up before I start checking them out. I give everybody the storyboard. I tell them, you know, the idea that's going through my brain, whatever that narrative is. And I kind of just create the scene for them. I create the vibe for them. So they're like, oh, okay, I see where she's going. And then there's a ton of references. You know, I did work a lot with Essence with their Real Women makeovers. And so I got real used to directing women that were not, you know, models and camera ready. And that's always an interesting experience too. But I do like to come prepared with references. So everyone's like, oh, okay, now I kind of see where she's going with this.
Because I don't, that way I don't work, and it's so hard sometimes. Because in my mind, I know what I want.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, I'll come to the set with nothing at all. I'm like, we're going to do this. I like this. We're going to do this. So we're going to do this. And it's like, are you serious? Like, we're going to do this, and this. And they look at me like I got two heads. And then I take the first shot and they go, oh. I get it now. And I know that because we never, back in the days, we didn't have mood boards and all that stuff, but we'd have references and stuff. So when people started making mood boards and stuff, I'm like, why are you doing that? It's all in here. Just
right. But then the thing is, you have to communicate that to hair and to makeup and to the models and to the client, because they're not inside here. And that's that's the beauty now of having Pinterest.
And the funny thing about it is, you can't say, we're going to do big hair.
But that's my story.
It's like, what's big hair?
I had a conversation. I wanted to do a big hair series, and I told
like heavy metal big hair from like the 80s.
There you go. Okay, so look.
That's what he wanted.
That's what I wanted, and they came in with this afro, and I was like, that is not what I'm talking about. But okay, I was so upset.
But it was big hair,
and that was my last time ever doing that. It was like, nope, mood boards for everybody. Here you go.
Yeah, so, you got to be really clear, I think, in your vision.
Very
exactly,
specific, yeah.
And you have to do diligence.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about that. You talked about all the pretty things. You talked about all the successes. Tell us some of your horror stories that you've learned from.
I had a client that had a shoot, and it should have been a 2-day shoot. I knew, and I told them it should have been a 2-day shoot, and they crammed it into one. And I was like, it's either going to be 2 days or it's going to be a lot of overtime. And of course, it was a lot of overtime. However, the shoot did involve a swimming pool.
Okay.
Creating a boardwalk into a beach. So I had, in James Webber's Poor Studio, I had 6 different sets operating at once. I took out like double liability insurance because of the pool, because I was like, God forbid this thing busts a leak.
Right.
We've got all the packs had to come up off the ground.
Off the ground. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, that day it was like, I had so much adrenaline I could barely hold the camera. Like, I just knew I was in over my head. I was like, I should have fought for what I knew. And that was definitely one of many learning curves. And it's hard because you really do want the job, and it's always, the client is always going to just try to nickel and dime the budget, and you're like, but this is what it takes to execute what you're asking me to execute, and I'm not going to compromise what I do. I'd rather just not take the job.
Yes.
I'm talking to myself right now. Oh my God, I'm talking to myself.
We are friends. You have no idea.
We're kindred spirits. So
we are. I can't believe you went to my high school, or I went to your high school.
No, you went to my high. Okay. Yes, we did.
That's hilarious. That's so crazy.
Do
you know what I?
Do you remember your teachers' names?
No, I can't say that.
So you went to school for art, correct?
Yeah, I went for art.
I went for music. Okay, so we didn't even have even the same
I was an
performance
art
classes.
major too, but
Oh,
in
wow.
Jersey, it's different.
It's in Jersey.
Right.
So again,
Our favorite thing about Jersey was we used to say, "What exit?" And in New York, we called them bridge and tunnel back in the day. Remember
The
that?
Bridgerton people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be my line.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get you for that one. So you talked about your experiences. Explain your experiences being a woman photographer in a man's world, and the hell that you went through. Because I know you went through the hell. Oh, that sounds.
I mean, I don't really know how to start with that one. I feel like even today, you know, after Me Too, I really thought that a whole bunch of doors were going to open, and they really haven't changed very much. It's still very much male dominated in the industry. I mean, thank God there are tons of females working out there now, you know, including directors, and that's amazing. And it's been its own feat these last few years, I think. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like the opportunity just wasn't what it should have been.
So
Like-
you've never been mansplained? You've never been saying, "Oh, what do you shoot, babies"?
No, thank God, because I might have kicked somebody where it hurts if that happened.
Yay, Brooklyn. It's funny because when we interview women photographers, we get these horror stories of men trying to devalue you, tell you that you don't know what you're doing. You must need help because you're a woman, and then you turn around and show them your portfolio, and it shuts them the fuck down.
Like, this is what I do.
So,
Right.
believe it or not, even being men and being men of color, we go through the same shit because we go to a job. Like, you shop for Revlon, I shop for Revlon. I had a 5-day shoot with Revlon, and all our paperwork and everything wasn't even done face to face. So I stroll up to the door, I stroll up to the studio, and they crack the door. Now I'm standing there in jerseys, football jersey and Timberlands, and the guy cracked the door. He's like, "Yes, can I help you?" I said, "Is this a Revlon shoot?" He's like, "Yes." I said, "I'm the photographer," and I went like this, and he's still looking through the door. So he turns around, and it's the photographer. And he opened, and so he had that resignation. Okay, let me open the door. And he opens the door, and he's like, "This is the photographer."
What?
So go
Oh, I
through
guess this
that.
was before Zoom, right?
Yes, this is before Zoom. Oh yeah, this is before Zoom.
Yeah.
But because I don't think I'd have gotten a job if we did Zoom.
No.
I don't think I'd have booked a job.
Well-
Regardless of what my work looked like.
You know, my friend, do you know Margina Dennis, makeup
Yes,
artist?
I do. Mhm.
Okay, I love her. She's awesome, and she's been talking to me about this for years, about the racism within the industry.
We did a Netflix thing, and they came to our set, and they thought we were delivery people.
Yeah. No, we're
Oh hell no!
yes. They was like,
Like, who are you? What are you? Are you delivering something?
It's like, what?
I said, "Yeah, bitch, I'm delivering the goods."
Listen, we go through it. I usually he's always ready to go.
I'm always Brooklyn. I'm ready for it.
always
I'm saying,
let's just get this over with. Let's get it done.
And so then we start bringing, and so they look, oh, you're the photographer. And then we start bringing out high-end equipment. Yeah, we're bringing out phase ones and Hasselblads and brown color lighting systems. Yeah, bitch, we're for real.
It was interesting though, and it was funny because it's like this is another story.
So you never walked into a shoot and they thought you were the makeup artist or the hairstylist?
I have gotten that a few times.
Ah.
I have gotten that a few times,
So I
and
know
I'm
there's
like,
a story there.
well,
Yeah.
but Wendy's a female name, so it's like, you know, when you walk in, they don't expect, I guess, the photographer to be like a 5'3" woman. So they do assume that you're like hair or makeup or wardrobe or something. But no, I haven't really encountered that, not very much.
Well, we're happy that you haven't, and we hope that you never will.
Yeah. So we talked about your worst shoots. What are some of your favorite shoots that you did? That
Oh,
yes, I want to hear about your favorite.
that gets me in my happy place. My God,
Nice.
my first major shoot was Common for Rolling Stone.
Okay.
And literally, I had photographed him already for, do you remember Herb magazine in LA? I don't know if they're still there.
No,
I
they're not.
photographed, they're not, oh man. So I photographed Common for them years ago in Brooklyn. And when the job came out, this is such a funny story. I had taken my book to Universal, and this woman at Universal Def Jam was like, you need to go see this guy over at Rolling Stone. They're doing a shoot. I had no idea what she was talking about. I didn't know anything about the shoot. And the shoot ended up being part of the Chevy calendar for Rolling Stone. It was like a limited edition thing that they did.
Nice.
12 artists. And so when I got the Common
Your version
shoot,
of your version of Pirelli calendar.
yes, exactly. And so when I got it, and we were talking budget, he's like, are you available for these dates? We're shooting in LA. And I was like, awesome, road trip, you know. I had no idea. So I said, what kind of budget do we have? Thinking, okay, I'll rent, you know, I'll get an assistant there, lighting, airfare, stay at a friend's house, whatever. And I was like, he said 25. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. 25, awesome. And then I was like, I said 100. And he was like, 1,000. I was like, what? I didn't realize it was an advertorial. Like, I didn't have the information, so I had no idea. That was kind of like a breakthrough moment. And then when we flew to LA, I was with my girl Zamnia, and we were listening to music. I think 50 Cent's song had just dropped, and we were in Griffith Park shooting Common. He played Roy Ayers in the background, My Life in the Sunshine, which is like my jam. I photographed Roy Ayers. I've already photographed Roy Ayers and met him a bunch of times, and then like his music keeps coming up on all my shoots, right? So then it's like I worked with Q-Tip once, and he had Roy Ayers playing. So then Roy Ayers was playing at the Iridium, and I went to see him on like a really bad date. But I went to go see him, and I gave him my card in the middle, which I never do. But I was just like, well, whatever. And he called me 4 years later. He had it in his desk drawer. He's like, sweetheart, I need a photo session. What? And I got to photograph Roy Ayers, and it was amazing. So there's that experience, you know, with Common. We were just in Griffith Park with this Chevy, and it was like just an amazing, beautiful day in Los Angeles kind of shoot. Like that's back when we were traveling a lot for work.
How was Common as a person?
Oh, he's so cool. He's so cool. He actually used to be real good friends with a friend of mine who's an art director at Sony. So, and we have a lot of mutual friends, like, you know, part of that whole like New York, Brooklyn crew.
Wow.
So yeah, he was really cool. I got to shoot Wyclef in this club. Leslie Bernard had a club on 26th Street. My God, who else? I got to shoot Little Kim for The Source. That was exciting.
Yeah, you win. Okay, wait.
I knew you knocked me out the way.
No, which one? Okay, let me explain. I was a huge Little Kim fan. I'm talking let me explain. Anything she was in, I probably purchased more than once in my room.
I had it on his wall.
I had it on my wall and on my ceiling. So which Little Kim was The Source?
Oh my God. So if you scroll down on my Instagram, you'll see a shot of my contact sheets.
He's going to right now.
Yep.
And she was in a light blue Chanel suit in the recording studio. She was recording. And we had like a couple of hours with her or something. It was a great, great day. Who else? My God. Idris Elba. That was pretty amazing. He is awesome.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he is
He
amazing.
makes you feel like you're home. He flew us out to London to do some work in Rankin Studio for he did a project for Superdry. He was he was going down the rabbit hole of fashion. He wanted to be a designer.
Oh,
and
wow.
So he flew us out there, and it was like, and there was two sets of documentary photographers, one for Superdry and one for Idris. So when he walked in the door, you know, everybody kept trying to greet him. He kept pushing them away like, hey, Jay, give me a minute. He went to hug him.
Wait, so look, I told Dallas, I'm like, I know Idris. He's like, hey,
okay.
whatever.
No, I know, whatever.
He whatever needs. Like, okay. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, I really know him. I did music with him. And I was like, I know him. He's like, all right, you know. So I was like, okay.
So he said, so he tells me, are you available on these dates? Because we're about to move now.
Yeah.
So he said, are you available for these dates? I said, what place to go to London? I said, quit playing.
No,
we're going to London. You know, we're going on, and that's how it was. But let me ask you this question. Since you shoot on both coasts, and you deal with models on both coasts, and you deal with people on both coasts, what was the biggest difference that you've seen in the energy and culture of the East Coast as compared to the West Coast?
I feel like the West Coast is a lot more laid back, and I feel like they tend to go more lifestyle. They're not, I mean, there's definitely become, in the last 5 to 8 years, a lot of really great beauty talent has emerged out of LA or has moved to LA from New York.
You see what you just said? They moved from
New York.
to LA, yeah.
But there's still real good talent in LA. I just think the aesthetic and the need is different. The demand is different. New York is definitely more high fashion, and LA is definitely more like celebrity driven. I think that's the best way to describe it. But you do have both on both coasts.
Well, when we first got out here, I realized their lack of urgency.
Yes. Well, I always found that to be difficult anywhere outside of New York City. I'm like, what is taking so long? What do you mean it's going to take 3 weeks to get my car done? Like, can't y'all just do it in like one shot? Like, take it apart, fix it, put it back together.
Do it. Hurry up.
So when we came out here, we met with a makeup company, and they auditioned me. I got auditioned because the makeup artist was her creative consultant, and she needed headshots because she was the CEO. So we went in there, we did the headshots. And that night, I sent her a link, and she's like, "What is this?" I said, "That's a link to your photo shoot." She was like, "What?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not expecting to see this for another 2 weeks." I was like, "No, I shot you. Pick your photos." So she picked her photos, and she had them in less than 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's normal, though, right?
Okay.
That's just the way.
7 days is a long time for me. So
Right. Well, because then you're on to the next project, and you're like, I got to get this off my table. I'm in post-production here, pre-production there. I'm all over the place. Like,
Yes.
So when that happened, she fired her entire media department.
oh my God, that's amazing.
She booked us 2 years out.
Aw, look at all that love you just got.
Merely because we did our job.
And showing up, though.
Right.
I had photos. Yes, I did.
My little Kim shoot.
Yes, I did.
So
Yes, I did.
yeah, so I find that now that we lived here for about 6 years now, I've calmed down. So when I go back to New York, I have to turn it back on because I'm so.
Where in LA are you guys?
We're in the valley.
We're in the valley, yeah.
Not too far from Calabasas.
All right. Oh,
So
that's where Willa is. Yeah, that's awesome.
We are in Woodland Hills. Oh yeah,
Okay.
Woodland's got a block from us.
Yeah.
We
Don't
passed
go
it
after
from
my
us.
don't go after my client.
No.
As a matter of fact, when I walk my dog, we passed it.
He's like,
And that's
"What's
an
that?"
old
He was
blood.
like,
That's an old
"Is
blood
that
is there.
Yeah.
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 Like, don't steal my client.
No, you got
So
it.
if you need help, we're literally right down
No,
the
but that's good. We should exchange contact information anyway, just so we could talk outside of IG.
But you've
Yes.
been saying that to me for years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, give me your fucking number, please.
Okay.
Yes, you have. So you got me now. You got me. So now let me ask you this: East Coast or West Coast models? Which are your favorite?
I'm going to say East, but I did when I was in LA before I got engaged, so 2018. I moved out there for a couple of months, and I worked with some amazing talent. Don't ask me the name of the agency now. I'll find it because I know I still get emails from them. But there's some really, really strong girls in LA now. It's not like it was 10, 15 years ago where they were just pure commercial. They were actually girls with substance, beautiful girls.
So what's happening is this: when we first got out here, because we didn't know anybody, we moved out here cold turkey, and
That's what I did.
Yeah, we didn't know anybody, so we had to build our reputation out here. And so I immediately went to the agencies. I know we have to change our book because it was so New York. We have to get it to LA, make it make sense.
Right.
And so I'm testing. He's looking like, LA girls, nice.
I do not wish to shoot Pamela Anderson.
It's like, I don't want. I'm like, no.
I want to shoot Naomi Campbell. I don't want to
Right.
shoot
And I basically told him, I'm telling you they're out here. So
It's really dark in
Or
here.
what,
Sorry.
or what would happen is the creative director or the art director won't allow us in selecting models.
yeah.
So they're selecting models, and I won't know what they look like until we walk on set. And Wendy, one time, I thought it was a bubble butt, and I said out loud how to actually do LA models.
Yes, you did.
I did, and then he looked at me like, "Do you know what you just said?" I said, "Oh my God, I said that out loud."
See, the problem was this: we didn't have to put on the models, and a lot of times the clients,
Or they were pulling influencers.
They were pulling influencers.
Right. So that's another thing that's happened within the industry is that instead of working with models and real technically skilled photographers, everyone's an influencer and they're just after the numbers. Dallas, I feel like you and I have always kind of teetered on the 10K mark, right?
Right.
I just don't even, sometimes I just find the whole thing so stupid that, and again, it goes back to just the massive embracing of mediocrity in photography. It's just everything's mass produced and it's bad. And it's, you know, they're trying to call it lifestyle when you're like, no, it's really just underexposed and poorly
For black
executed.
photographers, we call it raw.
Yeah, that's they call
We're
it.
shooting it raw. That's what we do. So we
Oh.
make models look greasy and nasty and greasy, nasty, and poor.
Yes.
And they call it shooting raw.
Yeah.
So forget the polished stuff that we do. Forget the
Right.
good lighting. No, they don't want that. They want them one photographer.
Raw.
Maybe we want them looking like they're coming out the mud. And I was like, I don't shoot that. I don't.
Yeah, it's like it's just the dumbing down of lighting and the dumbing down of production. It's a lack of value in high production value. There's no more value to it. I mean, there is. It's still there, and I'm still seeing, you know, friends that are putting some amazing work out there. I'm like, wow. And when I see it, I'm like, this brings joy to me to see.
And we know that
see them
work is going to stand the test of time.
Yes.
exactly, and to see that they're working and they're working at this level. You know, not like at the where you're still treated like you're just coming up.
Yep. It's going.
You know,
I believe it's going to turn. It's going to change again because it's time. Like you're going to get sick of seeing the same thing, the same feel, the same move. Everybody's working on this low budget look. And you're going to get tired of it. Somebody's going to do something where it's going to blow it out the water, then everybody's going to go follow it.
And it's possibly going to be you and me. So we're going to have to do that.
No.
Exactly.
It's a certain type of magic that's missing from photography. It used to be this thing where, for me, it was all magical. Like literally, when I shoot, I can hear the shingles and the
like when you walk on your first big shoot, and you're like, oh my God, this is it. This is magical.
right. It is magical. It's magical, and when you hit that spot, when everyone on set is like, "Yes," you're like, you know you got the shot. Like you know in your gut that you got that shot. You're like, all right, we got it. Next, let's move on. Like bang it out.
Like back in the days, we aspired, photography, models, everything. We aspired to create that image.
Mm-hmm.
We aspired for that look and that lifestyle. Now that everything's become obtainable, there's nothing for us to aspire to.
Well, you know,
the way the kids are shooting today.
Oh yeah, for some,
that's what I'm talking about.
Right,
So
right.
It's like Naomi. It's like we come from the world of the supermodels, the real supermodels. So there was Linda Evangelista, there was Naomi Campbell, there was
Chrissy Turlington,
Chrissy
right?
Turlington. Yeah. There was a look that everybody strived to be, and I love inclusivity. I love that everybody's getting a chance, but bring the magic
back.
Yeah,
bring the magic. Put the magic where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And the magic isn't there anymore. And since the kids, and this is our fault, because we're not passing the baton on to these people so they can learn, they're not getting it. So they're making it up as they go along because they don't know.
Right. And so I think the business of photography is another thing to talk about. And I love that you're doing workshops now. Also,
well, once we light up and we can light up, once we can open up the gates again, we're back to the workshops. Yes.
That's amazing because I feel like that's a really big thing. Like when I was working with interns, it was really important for me to take care of them, make sure that they're fed, make sure transportation, whatever I could do. You know, when I would get a shoot and if I could bring them on and pay them something, anything just to keep them learning, keep them engaged. And talk to them about what a budget is and how to budget for a job. And, you know, it's been really hard. I feel like nobody really cares about usages. And that's kind of the gray area that everyone is like, oh, okay, yeah, you can have it for this, that, and the other. It's like, no, but that's how we make our money. That is how we make our money. It's you don't go into a restaurant and say, oh, well, that's really expensive. Can I have that steak and lobster for $12? You just don't do that. Why are we also negotiable?
Yeah.
I mean, including myself, I've fallen victim to it because I'm like, damn, I really want that job. What do I have to do to make it happen?
Yeah.
We've all been there. I just talked to a friend of mine who wants me to do a job. And when I gave him the numbers, and he's a friend, but he runs a business. And him being my friend, I said, if you can't afford this, do you want me to lower the prices? I'll do it. He's like, no, I don't want that. Because if I had to hire a stranger, I'd have to pay them their rates.
Right. And that's a great way to think about it.
And he says, I'm going to hire you. I can't do this right now because he has some other things coming up. But because he's my friend, I was like, I'll do this for free. Just fly me to New York. I'll knock it out for you. But he's like, no, because if I had to hire a stranger, I would have to pay them. So you got the talent. Why not give you the money? Yeah. So we understand. The licensing game, and I try to teach these kids the licensing game and the value of their assets, that they both are the assets. They just don't get it. And it's like they just don't care.
I don't think it's that they don't care. I think it's more along the lines of they don't understand. You have to understand that they walk into a world and they don't understand the rules of the world, and nobody pulls them to the side and say, "Don't do that." You understand? Don't do that. So right now they're just doing and experiencing, and there's no one to. There's people to criticize them and say you're doing it wrong, but there's nobody to say
really teach them
how to do it. So like, I've been blessed because Dallas taught me. When I was working, I was doing $75 photo shoots with 23 edits and composite work, and just to do it. And it was, yeah, I'm being honest. And it was for like rappers and things, and covers and t-shirts and logos.
You got to lock it down. No merch.
Yeah.
No merch.
And you know how it's so funny. Someone's like, "How much you charge for that?" And he was like, $75. I'm like, "For what?"
All of it.
And I was like, "You do realize this is that last shoot? You're never doing that again."
You stop immediately.
Good.
And again, once I learned, I taught people.
We try to pass it.
Right. So, and that's something I always did with James. We'd go back and forth on, like, bidding jobs. Like, hey, what number should this come in at? Like, we've been able to share. We tried to start a business of photography back a few years ago in New York, and we were both just too busy to really put the work into it that we needed to build it out.
You can't be a working photographer and babysit other photographers.
No, you can't.
Wow.
But it is. Can I ask you what time it is? Because I have a conference call coming up at 3.
We got 5 minutes.
Okay. Oh, dang.
Can you do it?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yes.
What's the biggest lesson that you've had in your journey thus far?
Oh, God. You know what? I'm going to share. I did a lecture at SVA, and I think my big takeaway was be really nice to everyone, because even if you're a student coming up at SVA and you don't like someone, that person is going to become your next photo editor or art buyer or art director, right? This person might be a hair or makeup person and then go on, and maybe you guys just don't really see eye to eye, but 6 years down the road now, this person is working at an ad agency. You just don't know. And so I think my biggest takeaway to everybody is just be cool with everybody. Give everybody the respect they deserve. Speak your mind when you need to. And don't be afraid to say, I need this, because, I spent a lot of years just kind of not really understanding how to massage the ego. And if I wasn't getting what I wanted and I'm the one coming out of pocket to make it happen, I'd get real angry about it. And now, it just became another method of communication, communicate well, and just be really nice to everybody. People meet me and they're like, "You're from New York, but you're nice."
Okay, one last question about New York versus LA. Do you think they're nice in LA?
I think that there's, God, that's a hard. You're talking about Los Angeles or Louisiana?
Let's do Los Angeles, because people always say that New York people were mean. And
I just think we're more blunt. Like, we don't.
That's
like,
what it is.
It's like if I get into a conversation, I don't want to start talking about the weather. It's like we're on a clock over here, so like let's get to business. Where in LA, there's a much. They have more of a courting period, if you will, and also here in the South, I'm like, okay, spit it out, like.
Yeah.
But it's
your birthday?
January 2nd, 69, Capricorn.
Because out here they're like, "Oh, I want to work with you." I said, "Okay, what's your schedule? Oh, can we meet for coffee?"
It's like, I don't drink coffee.
I don't drink because I want to tell you.
We have tea.
It's like I want to tell you my hopes and dreams about this shoot. It's like, oh my God, seriously?
Right.
And then after you meet them, he said, "Okay, I'll get back to you in a couple of months." It's like, are you serious?
Right.
So he can do that.
Okay. Because I am a lot more. I'm extremely patient when it comes to people, because I know that they have to get it out. If you don't let them get it out, they're not going to want to work with you. So they want to tell you their hopes and dreams. So talk to me. I'll listen to it. I'll listen to what you want to tell me. When it all boils down to it, when it's time to talk money, I'll be like, well, let me get you to the dollar.
Then I'm the one to talk to. Because he'll have.
She didn't ask for all of that.
He'll be giving away. He'll give away unicorns and rainbows for
pennies.
pennies. You know what? We have to let you go, because I want you to get your mindset for your next interview or what you have to do.
Wendy,
thank you.
I have a friend. It was a pleasure meeting you.
It was a pleasure to meet you both, and I know.
Before we go, we have to do a thumbnail shot. So get your face ready.
Okay.
Get your pose ready.
And
put
we're
your
gonna hold.
model
We're
on.
gonna put your model on. We're gonna hold it for like 5 seconds.
Okay. Ready and go.
1, 2, 3.
Every time. Every time.
Wendy, thank you so much.
No,
Joining
it
us.
was such a pleasure. Thank you for the
Love you,
opportunity.
love you. If you're in New York at the same time, we got to get together.
We've got to get together.
If you bored and you want to talk shop,
I talk New York shit. If you need help,
You know what? I'm call you. I'm gonna when we get off, I'm gonna send you my phone number through DM, and then we'll really talk.
And if you need help with Wella out here, give us a call. We got you.
Thank you.
Not even joking. Is on our street.
It's real. We can walk there from
It's
here,
on our
literally.
street.
But have a wonderful day.
Thank
you
you.
so much for joining us.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Bye.